Sorry, yeah, the guess, what do you,
Yeah, where the guest can
sign in sheet?
That's something we're gonna have to vote on, I think.
We need to address it by the next regular meeting.
Well, they just use that as an excuse. I don't know, sir, if you were aware or if you've seen a video or anything from our last previous meeting.
No voice.
I can't hear it.
No, I haven't seen that video. I've been given information, and I've thought about, a couple of ways to deal with that. I think the most important and probably the most probable, successful option is to have the sheriff there. The other option is, closing down the meeting and only allowing public people to speak during public hearings and having sign-up sheets for people to make public comment if you still want somebody to make public comment. I need to get more familiar with your criminal code. We can always use the statute, and I need to talk to staff about kind of what sort of court system you have set up there. But as the town attorney, town prosecutor, I'm also able to write complaints. And so if we had a court stood up there, we could write complaints in the municipal court and start charging people for violation of the statute, which is disruption of a public meeting. And I believe that it is a criminal violation, and we can fine them. And so, we got to take control of the situation somehow. I'm looking through multiple options. I am going to reach out to the sheriff's department, and I do want to schedule, your regular meeting this month is on the 24th, is that correct?
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the 24th?
Yes.
So what I'd like, what I would plan to do if you wanted to was I'm going to try to come out there this month. That week is open for me, so I'll be able to travel and attend that meeting in person. I'd like to meet you all anyway and then kind of discuss some of the options. By that point, I'd like to have the sheriff's department on board, at least have one deputy there, and then, remove people, work with you, Mr. Mayor, and work on, what the process would be for determining what person needs to be removed, and then possibly writing a criminal complaint against them and filing it into municipal court and fining them. So, I think there's a couple steps we can take to really take control of the meeting and then set the precedent that if anybody wants to come in just for the purpose of disruption, then they're going to have to, they'll be removed and fined.
What happened in the last board meeting is that we didn't have a sign-in sheet for them. We took your advice that we didn't have to have a sign-up sheet, that if they wanted to talk to us, they would have to get a hold of the town hall a certain time and get on the agenda that way. And I tell you, it come uncorked.
That's what I was told, and I think that's, I wouldn't say that, that I'm surprised. Sometimes it goes that way first when you try to rein people in. But again, I was told there was no law enforcement and that that it was just a free for all, that, there's no order in the meeting and that you guys weren't able to conduct your business. And that's unfortunate, but without law enforcement there or without some other true repercussion, we're going to see it swing the other way as you try to take control of it. It's kind of like taming a horse. These people have been running free for so long that, they're going to fight at the beginning when you try to keep them within some sort of reasonable boundary. So I'm not surprised. My advice on that is, so this is just to keep people from allowing any public comment, and then unless it's a public hearing, of course, where they're entitled to it. But if they're just going to come in and disrupt without even a time to speak, then that's an easy one, because then that's immediately meets the statutory definition of a disruption. Versus, if you give them 3 minutes, they can go pretty wild for those 3 minutes, and technically, depending on what they say or do, it might not be a disruption. And that's kind of why I had steered it in that, or advised to steer it in that direction. And of course, that's if you didn't like it and if you feel like it made it worse, and before we do anything else, you want to just open it back up for public comment. That's of course, your decision. I don't want to keep you from. I don't want you to think that you have to do one way or the other. But I do think it's going to take a combination of certain things to keep things under control.
Well, my opinion is my opinion only, but if they want to talk to the town council, they have to notify town hall that they want to be on the agenda, not just to walk in and sign a piece of paper and start talking about stuff that don't even concern what's going on with the town. It's just their own personal stories of what we've been getting for the last few months.
Right.
I kind of agree with that, because we still get some people that come in and sit on one subject every meeting, and it's like.
Yeah, one thing you can do if you don't have just open public comment is typically you have a sign-in sheet for a particular topic, and that person is allowed to speak on that particular topic if you want. You don't have to take a public comment. Public hearings you would for people who are interested and or affected by whatever the public hearing is concerning. And then, beyond that, you can accept requests for agenda items, but ultimately you want the board to control what goes on the agenda. And then if it's not on the agenda, then you can't discuss it anyway because it's not noticed. So that's a good way to say, thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, for your comment. However, I'm going to cut you off because this has nothing to do with anything on our agenda, and we can't talk about it because this is a public meeting and our agenda items have been posted pursuant to law, blah, blah, blah. And then stop it that way. But so, and I apologize. I have to jump. I have another meeting at 7. If you guys, I'll speak with staff and determine whether or not you want me to, and you can discuss amongst yourself whether or not you want me to try to make it out there on the 24th. I'd be happy to do some legwork in the meantime and see if we can't, get the meeting under control.
That'll work. When we try to explain to them what was going on, why we didn't get a sign-up sheet or anything, we took our advice from our attorney, and who's your attorney? He's violating our First Amendment rights and all.
Yeah, the First Amendment right thing is, it's cockamamie. There's no First Amendment right to disrupt a public meeting. People have taken the First Amendment and distorted it in their favor to the detriment of the community, and that's not what the purpose of that First Amendment is. So we'll slowly kind of rein it in, and I'm not afraid to, calmly explain something, but we're not going to get into a legal argument in a public meeting. Legal arguments belong in a courtroom, and so we're just going to take control of the situation, and it might take a few months, but I do think that's going to have to happen for the benefit of the town. I mean, you guys, I know you're tired of putting up with it, and I'm sure, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to having civil meetings, and I think that should be one of our, goals, and over the next couple months. So.
It'd be nice to actually get business done.
Yep. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, folks. I do have to jump off. I apologize. Yep. Have a good evening.
So, if he comes down, it would be great to answer some of the questions, just for the people get off our butts a little bit.
Well, if you can get across to these people, that this is the way it is, they can't come in here and think they're going to take over your meeting.
The thing is, they have to stay, like you said, he has to stay on topic. Basically, all they're doing is airing all the BS that they've been trying to air for the last year and a half.
And how many though are going to stay on the subject and have it?
None of them.
But yeah, I think it's a good idea to see attorneys come down.
time, we'll take motions for adjournment, or which one, what do we got now?
Do we need to vote on that?
Okay, sorry about that. What we have to do now is go ahead and go for the professional services for water, storage tank, and chlorine building, and new chlorine building. So, anybody wanna make a motion on that?
Involve, what do we have to do, involve Black and Beach?
You gotta put their name in it.
Well, I will make a motion to accept services from Black and Beach for the water storage tank and the new chlorination building filtration.
Second.
And just for the record, if I can add to that, the recommendation for the professional services was under the direction of Department of Local Affairs and state agencies. This is the process that you have to follow to seek funding for this project. So just for the record, that's,
It's mandated.
this is mandated, and it was, this procedure is under the direction of the Department of Local Affairs. Just for the record.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, we have a motion, a second.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gilman? Yes. Ms. Gonzalez? Yes. Mr. Portis?
Yes.
Nothing else at this time. I need to make a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.